What's up everyone, welcome back to another episode of Austin channel. If you're first time here, my name is Peter, I live in Ireland and I do detailing for last 15 years. We also specialize in leather restoration. If you have seen my previous videos about how to start detailing business, this video also relates to that subject as well. So if you're planning detailing business, leather is definitely one of the aspects that you should learn about it properly. So in this video what I'm going to cover is I'm going to cover the surface itself. So after this video you should have really good understanding what leather is. Basically most people what they do when it comes to cleaning cars, they clean the leather and they apply conditioner. When I started detailing I did very same thing. I cleaned the leather and applied conditioner on every type of leather. However, after doing a lot of research about leather, also doing courses when it comes to leather restoration, which also cover the proper leather care, now my understanding of leather is completely different than it was years ago. But from my experience, the impression I get from most of people when they come to me, and they come to me for courses I deliver, they also come to the shop to buy products, most of people don't understand what leather is, what sort of surface they deal in. And this applies to car owners that they just want to clean their car, but also applies to people that they actually deliver services for people. Why most of people don't do the research about leather care, about proper leather care? When it comes to car owners or even people that they deliver services, once they do the job and the leather looks good today, it's fine. For most of people it's fine. However, from my experience, we provide leather restoration services and we can see how much damage there is caused by improper leather care, but also from lack of care. But in the case of leather, those damages don't appear straight away. In 95% cases, you won't see any damage that you caused on the surface. However, in length of time, the damages will appear. So in this case, what we have damage caused on leather by improper cleaning, wrong products use, wrong abrasion use on the leather for cleaning. And in this case, the only way to fix this issue is leather restoration or replacing the leather. Another example we have here shows lack of leather care altogether. Overall, these seats are about 30-year-old. So in general, for 30-year-old leather, the condition of them is quite okay. However, what lack of care causes on leather over time, it doesn't happen overnight, but over years. Even if you don't use the car and you don't treat that leather properly, what will happen is that leather will start to dry and will start to crack. So if you want to have really good understanding of what leather is, different types of leather that you come across in cars, also what you should be aware to prevent from those damages, watch this video. In the next video, what I'm going to explain you is how to approach leather cleaning. Overall, it seems to be like a very simple task. However, to do it right, to do it safely, also you need to have good understanding of that aspect. And the third part will be about preserving the leather. In this case also, job is not difficult once you understand it. So if you're a car owner or you deliver car care services, these 3 videos will give you excellent knowledge and you'll be able to do your leather care like a professional. Overall, in these videos, I'm going to concentrate on automotive leather. However, the knowledge you get here will apply to any sort of leather surfaces that you come across in your daily life. So let's start from what real leather is. You have different types of leather in cars, but we'll start from real leather. Basically, what you need to think about when it comes to real leather, it's natural, it's organic material. Leather comes from animals, so basically what leather is, it's animal skin. So if you want the leather lasting long in your car, what you need to do, you need to treat it as an organic material. When it comes to converting animal skin into the final product, it's a sort of complex process. Starts with tanning process. Overall, when it comes to tanning process, the technology changes all the time. Years ago it was different type of tanning, these days is also different. However, the main thing when it comes to tanning process is they remove some components from the animal skin, but they also add different sort of substances. So what that does is it preserves leather from rotting, make it durable. Other stages involved in making leather are dyeing and painting the leather. So I'm sure you've seen different colors of leather. So overall, if you think leather is natural material, of course it is, if it's real leather. However, when it comes to the color of it, whatever you can see in any car, this color was applied in the factory. So I'm sure you've seen different colors of leather in different cars. Some people have the idea that because the leather is natural material, that's the color that came from the animal. There is no way that there would be source for this type of colors from the nature. Also, if you think about leather and you look at the grain on the leather, this in most cases is made by human as well, so the grain after painting the leather is pressed on the surface. So basically, if you think about the leather, if you understand car paint, leather is a little bit similar. So in the case of car paint, what you have panel, you have the primer, you have the color, and you have the clear. In the case of real leather, it's very similar to that. What does leather consist? Basically, animal skin, what you have there, you have collagen fibers, you have millions of collagen fibers bonded together. Thanks to that, leather is very flexible, but is also resistant to tear. So leather consists hide substances, which is the natural material. Leather also will consist tannins, so components added during the tanning process. But also what leather consists is oils, fats and moisture. And of course the pigment that the animal skin was dyed through and paint on top of the surface. What is the pH of leather? In general, leather has acidic pH about 4.5. How these informations are related to leather care? In general, when you clean leather and you're choosing strong alkaline-based products, and that's what a lot of people that they deliver car care services do, what happens there is alkaline-based products are excellent to remove greases, oils from surfaces. And once you use them on the leather, what you're doing, you clean the leather so you might have that nice clean finish. However, you're affecting the features of leather because you're also removing oils from the leather. When it comes to leather cleaners, I will explain you these aspects in detail in the next video, but let's move to the types of leather that you might come across. So here we have three most common types of real leather. First one is painted leather, some people call it pigmented leather. This leather is used commonly in automotive industry. Another type of leather that you also will come across in cars is semi-aniline leather. And the last type of leather is aniline. So what is the difference between these three leathers? Basically, the process of making these three leathers starts very same way. During the tanning process, as I mentioned before, some substances are removed from the leather, some substances are added, but one of the biggest factors during that process is that all animals have hair. So during that process, all the hairs are pulled out from the surface. In result, what that does is it makes the surface porous. So here we have example of aniline leather, and the feature of this leather is that it's very porous and it will absorb liquids. Once you pour some sort of liquid on it, the liquid will be absorbed by the surface straight away. So as you can imagine, cleaning this leather with liquid types of leather cleaners is almost impossible. But when it comes to this type of leather, you will not see this leather in cars. Now let's move on to type of leather that is commonly used in cars, which is the painted leather. So in the case of this type of leather, making process at the start was very same as for aniline leather. So all the hairs were removed, the surface was porous, but the finished product has paint on top of the surface, and that paint seals those pores. So in the case of painted leather, even if you apply liquid type of leather cleaner, you can actually do the job safely. Of course, that the fact that there is paint on top of the surface doesn't mean that that leather is 100% waterproof. It will resist water for a while. However, if you exceed the time of the contact of water with that leather, at some stage even painted leather will absorb the water. But in this case, we can treat this leather as a closed leather. So aniline leather is open, this leather is sort of closed. But there is also third type of leather, and you will come across this type of leather, especially in sort of premium cars. This leather is called semi-aniline leather. So what is the difference between semi-aniline leather and aniline leather and painted leather? Basically, this leather is sort of in between two of them. So the pores in that leather are sort of half closed, half open. So when you clean this type of leather, what you want to do is you want to be aware of that. Exceeding the time of contact of your leather cleaner with the surface might lead to permanent damage. And here is an example of that. Unfortunately, with naked eye, you won't be able to see the difference between any of these leathers. You need to use magnifying glass. So now I hope you have kind of good understanding what real leather is. I also compared the structure of the leather a little bit to car paint. Yes, you have those layers there. However, when you think about top coat on the leather, especially when it comes to modern cars, the protective barrier on that leather is very weak. When it comes to car paint, the clear coat actually gives you a lot of flexibility when it comes to machine polishing. In case of leather, you can't really treat it like that. And the last type of leather that you will come across in many different cars is artificial leather. What is artificial leather? It's imitation of real leather. And basically artificial leather is fully synthetic material. So artificial leather is made of polyurethane coating on the top and textile substrate on the bottom. The biggest difference in the leather care when it comes to artificial leather and real leather is that real leather consists oils, fats and moisture. Over time, the real leather dries off, as you probably know already, but you can sort of restore back those features. You can bring back the softness by applying different types of conditioners. But when it comes to artificial leather, which is basically plastic, conditioners will not work the same way. How to recognize real leather from artificial? Overall, you can do a couple of different tests and you should be able to find out whether you're dealing with real or artificial leather. Overall, artificial leather, it's imitation of real ones. So with the technologies today, the factories can imitate artificial leather that will look very same way as the real one. The easiest way of recognizing the real leather from artificial is if you can see the back of the leather. Real leather will have suede-like finish, where artificial leather will have fabric. But if you can't find a place where you can flick the leather upside down, what you can also do is you can do sort of pinch test. In the case of real leather, the real leather has some sort of memory, so once you pinch it, it will come back to its shape very quick. If you do the same thing on artificial leather, the trace of your pinch will stay there for a while. Another way of checking is you can smell the surface, and real leather will have some sort of oaky smell, where artificial leather will have no smell or plasticky smell. Can you recognize real leather from artificial by the damage that is on the surface? Absolutely. When it comes to real leather will have sort of natural features from the use. So as you can see here, there is different sort of creases, cracks, paint is worn from the surface, because if you understand how the leather is made, then you can simply recognize it. When it comes to artificial leather, if artificial leather gets damaged, what happens is it just simply cracks. So you have cracks on the top layer of leather, and you have textile background underneath. So if you look at two different leathers, you're never gonna have damage like this on artificial leather, and then you're never gonna have damage like this on real leather. So I hope this video gives you sort of good understanding of the surface when it comes to real leather. I hope that you also will be able to recognize artificial leather from real leather. So if you combine the knowledge from this video with the next one, which will be about cleaning, and the following one, which will be about conditioners and protectors that you apply on the leather, you will be able to make your work extremely safe, extremely effective. So that's everything in this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, comment below. If you like this type of content, make sure you subscribe my channel so you won't miss any other videos that I'm gonna publish in the next while, and see you on the next one.